You're standing in front of a shelf in a supermarket. 50 types of cereal. You spend 10 minutes looking at them, get frustrated, and just grab the one you always buy. Did you choose that? Or did your brain just take the path of least resistance? We live in an age of infinite options, yet we are more indecisive than ever. We think our decisions are the result of careful analysis. In reality, they are the result of a biological algorithm struggling to manage a world it wasn't built for. Today, we're hacking the mechanism of human choice. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman famously split the brain into two systems. System 1 is fast, intuitive, and emotional. System 2 is slow, deliberate, and logical. In his book, Thinking Fast and Slow, Kahneman describes a simple test. If a bat and a ball cost $1.10 together, and the bat costs $1 more than the ball, how much is the ball? Almost everyone's first instinct says 10 cents, System 1 answering fast and confident. The correct answer is actually 5 cents, and finding it takes System 2 slowing down to actually check the math. Most people never bother to check. Kahneman found this same pattern held up across thousands of participants. System 1 fires first, and System 2 rarely gets called in, unless something forces it to. Our brain is lazy. It wants to keep System 2 off as much as possible to save energy. When you think you're making a logical decision, often System 1 has already made it for you, and System 2 is just busy creating a reason to justify it. You aren't the pilot. You're the press secretary explaining why the autopilot crashed the plane. Here's the part that makes this harder to accept. System 1 isn't reckless. It's actually right most of the time, which is exactly why you trust it so completely. It's the reason you can drive home on autopilot, recognize a friend's face in a crowd, or catch a falling glass before you've even thought about it. The problem isn't that System 1 is bad at its job. The problem is that it can't tell the difference between catch the falling glass and pick a health insurance plan. It applies the same fast, confident shortcut to both, and only one of those situations actually needed it. This is why smart, careful people still make impulsive financial decisions, still fall for the same sales tactics twice, still argue themselves into choices they'll regret by dinner. Intelligence doesn't turn System 1 off. It just makes System 2 better at inventing convincing reasons afterward.
More is better, right? That's what our modern economy tells us. But our tribal software tells a different story. Psychologist Barry Schwartz laid this out in his research on what he called the paradox of choice. Past a certain point, more options don't make people happier. They make people more anxious and less satisfied with whatever they end up picking. Around the same time, researchers Sheena Iyengar and Mark Lepper ran a now famous experiment at a gourmet grocery store, setting up a tasting table with either 6 jams or 24 jams. The bigger display drew more people in to look, but when it came to actually buying something, only about 3% of shoppers at the 24 jam table made a purchase, compared to roughly 30% at the 6 jam table. More choice pulled people in and then froze them in place. When you have too many choices, your brain enters a decision paralysis. It perceives the burden of evaluating every option as a threat to survival, an energy waste. So what do? We conform. We look at what the tribe is choosing. We outsource our decision-making to the group because, 50,000 years ago, following the herd was safer than choosing for yourself.
This is exactly why bestseller and most popular labels work so well on us. They aren't giving you new information about quality. They're giving your tired brain permission to stop evaluating. The label does the deciding for you. Streaming platforms figured this out fast. The top 10 in your country row isn't there because those shows are objectively the best. It's there because showing you what everyone else picked short-circuits your own paralysis. You don't have to choose anymore. You just have to follow. And this outsourcing has a cost nobody warns you about. The more you let the crowd choose for you, the less practice your own judgment gets. Decision-making is a skill like any other. Skip it enough times, and picking anything, even something small, starts to feel exhausting because the part of your brain that used to do it quietly has gotten rusty.
But here's the kicker. Once you make a decision, your brain does everything in its power to never change it. This is confirmation bias. In the 1960s, psychologist Peter Wason ran an experiment where people were given a sequence of numbers and asked to guess the rule behind it. Instead of testing ideas that might prove them wrong, almost every participant only tested examples that confirmed whatever theory they'd already formed in the first few seconds. Decades of follow-up research have found the same pattern everywhere. From how people read news, to how jurors weigh evidence, to how investors read their own stock portfolios. People don't search for the truth, they search for confirmation. Your brain views your past decisions as part of your identity. Admitting you were wrong isn't just an intellectual defeat. Your brain interprets it as a social threat. It's why you can argue for hours about a political topic or a brand preference. You aren't defending the facts. You're defending your identity against the fear of being wrong in front of the tribe. So how do we stop being puppets to our own faulty algorithms? It starts with the pause. You can't turn off System 1, but you can force System 2 to wake up. When you face a big decision, don't ask, "What do I want?" Ask, "What is the algorithm trying to make me do?" Recognize the fear of missing out. Recognize the pressure of the herd, and recognize your bias. By stepping into the role of the observer, you stop being a passenger in your own life. You start becoming the architect. Next time, we're looking at something even stranger, why your own childhood memories aren't really recordings at all, but stories your brain quietly rewrites a little differently every single time you remember them. If you're ready to debug your life and reclaim your mind, hit that subscribe button. Every video, we uncover a new hidden code in the things you use, the thoughts you have, and the world you think you know. Until then, keep questioning the code.